Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Casually Fit Podcast. My name is Rob, as always. Thank you for coming by. This week's episode's like 19 or 20, something like that. Moving right along. Can't figure out this mic. But yeah, it's a new year. It is the 6th of January for you, and it's exciting times. You know, we got New Year's resolutions right now, people trying to lose weight, people changing up their diets, doing things different, you know, going through some struggle and trying to get through on top of, paying bills and dealing with COVID and doing all this, right? So it is a new year for every one of us, and hopefully on to greener pastures. This week's episode is, like I said, I'm changing this podcast up. So there's going to be a couple segments I'm going to be going through. And also this next week's episode, next week's podcast will still probably go up, but the video that I usually put out on Monday, for those of you who care, will more than likely not be able to go out. Very busy right now. I'm also taking a trip for the next several days. So just want to let you know that that's probably going to happen. But other than that, let's get into the episode. So first up, right? So now I'm changing things up, and we now have the first segment, which is the Fit Fighter. You know, it's the name for right now. Okay, I want to change the name, and I want to take some time and think of a better name than the Fit Fighter. But right now, it's the Fit Fighter. So the Fit Fighter of the week is going to be a woman with the Instagram handle WWChefSteph. And I'm not sure what her full name is, but we'll just call her Chef Steph. Now, Chef Steph is killing it. Straight killing it. She has, let me get this going for everybody. This is great. I think she is a great example of somebody who is losing weight and has done it and is, who's still going. Okay, so Chef Steph, it looks like she has been following the Weight Watchers program for a while, and she's lost, basically 100 pounds, 99.2 pounds that she has lost off Weight Watchers. Now, she didn't do any surgery, which, not saying anything bad about anybody who does surgery, but it is a special kind of thing when somebody can lose 100 pounds naturally, seemingly from changing up her diet and exercise routine. You know, that's it's very difficult for everybody. So I think we should highlight the people who are able to do it. And she is an example of somebody who did it. 99.2 pounds. That's insane, right? That's a lot of weight. Okay, that's a lot of weight. And you can see, if you're watching this, you can see right here, you know, she killing it. Lost a bunch of weight. And it looks like it's taken her a couple years to do. And I just wanted to highlight this person because, you know, she just lost so much weight. And she puts up information on her Instagram, such as like recipes for Weight Watchers, because there's a whole point system. You can kind of eat whatever you do want to eat. So it looks like she tries out a bunch of different recipes, posts them up, and helps people along their journey of trying to lose weight. You know, she lost the weight. She has a bunch of different before and after pictures that you can take a gander at, and you can just see, you know, somebody who went through the struggle and saw whatever she saw that made her decide to lose weight, and she decided to go at it the most natural way she could, which was just joining the Weight Watchers program. Again, Weight Watchers has been around since the 70s, so a lot of these diet companies do get a bad rap, and they're not all great, and you can definitely kind of pick apart, or you can create arguments against the availability of eating anything you want on the Weight Watchers program, but it seems to work for a lot of people. And they've actually done some peer-reviewed studies on Weight Watchers since they've been around since the 70s, right? You got a company that's been around for 40, 50 years, and they're having people eat a certain way and follow this system and come in and out of the program and succeed in the program. you're going to have some results. You're going to have a good amount of data to go off of. So that is a good thing about Weight Watchers, is that we have access to this data, and it seems like it's pretty good. It seems like counting the points and having all that seems to be working out for people. So obviously people can abuse it and maybe just decide to eat cookies, just because they're just following the points, I guess. But again, seems to be working for a lot of people. Worked for this woman. Again, lost 100 pounds. So I'm a fan of them, right? As of right now, who knows? Because a lot of these diet companies, especially ones that have been around for a while, there's a little sketchiness to them. I don't trust them completely 100%. Anything that was really created, I mean, just think about the accountability of anybody or any company in the, before 1995, there's like no accountability. So it's a little sketch, but again, they seem to be working. And also Weight Watchers apparently calls them WW. So I'm sorry for doing that, WW, but I guess that's what you're supposed to call them. But yeah, Chef Steph is somebody that you should go take a look at, right? If you're trying to lose weight, if you got that New Year's resolution right now, and maybe you want to lose 10 pounds this year, 20 pounds, whatever it is, maybe you haven't worked out ever in your entire life, or maybe it's been, a few years since you've been in there. And, undoubtedly, when you embark on that path, on that journey, you're going to come across struggle. You're going to come across some tough times. And that's where Chef Steph comes in. Go to the IG, type that in with the WW before that, and go get some inspiration, get a little bit of motivation, and get some tips. All right. And I'm sure, she looks like she is trying to get people to follow her. Right. So it looks like you can probably message her. Right. Maybe ask her some questions or whatever. I don't know if she charges for it. I don't know what's going on with all that. But look, she is a source of, she's somebody who was able to do it naturally, right? So these are the people that you should be, again, if you're somebody who's trying to lose weight and get whatever goal that you're trying to get, and you're at the very beginning stages of it, again, there's going to be some dark times. There's going to be some times where you just don't. It's just more comfortable to go. You think it's more comfortable to go back to being more of a sedentary type of person. So when that comes up, when you think that there's no hope, that you can't lose the weight, it's impossible. Losing that much weight it's not achievable, and you start coming up with all these reasons or excuses, and you start trying to find a way out of the whole thing. That's when you should go check out Chef Steph, all right? And she is a Fit Fighter of the Week. If y'all know anybody, message me on Instagram. I'm going to start to release more things on Instagram. So yeah, if you know anybody else who's somebody who's just killing it, losing a bunch of weight, trying to keep it off, doing the whole thing, message me and we'll get them on the podcast. We'll show them what's up. And hopefully, one day, maybe I can interview some of these people, because that'd be great. I mean, that's just such a good story, right? I mean, somebody who it looks like she's running, I mean, it's a good story. She's killing it, lost the weight, and now she's trying to sell Quest bars. I don't know. No, she's not trying to sell my. She's just showing a Quest, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the food that she's cooking, it looks pretty good. So follow her maybe just for that. These bowls look pretty good. But yeah, take that inspiration if you want it. But that is the Fit Fighter of the Week. And next week, there will be a new one. Now, moving on to the next tip, or the next segment of the podcast. And again, this is all new to me. It's new to you. It's new to me. I haven't done podcasts really before. I haven't done segments before. So I shouldn't be explaining the transition to a segment. That would mean that it is a very bad segue. But just know I'll get better at it. All right. So moving on to the nutrition tip. And some of you might have seen, I created a video this week. It went over the top fad diets that are out there. And really, I should have called it like the top BS diets that are out there, because it's really mostly just a bunch of garbage, right? And and the tip of the week for nutrition wise is, some people might know this, but when you're going into a new space, it's a new space, and getting into working out and exercising, and then looking into supplements and looking into what types of food you should be eating, the diets that are out there, the different types of exercises you could be doing, how you should be monitoring your heart, all these different things, right? It's a whole new kind of thing. And whenever you're new into it, you're new. You don't really know what's kind of going on, in fitness and exercising and all that. It's like relatively simple, right? But if you aren't exposed to it, you just don't know. Most people will find that, again, it's after a little bit, very short amount of time in looking around at all different things and learning about how the body works and what you need to do. It's relatively simple. But where was I going with that? Oh, but if you don't know, you can get kind of bamboozled by a fad diet, right? You can get maybe one of your friends or somebody you don't even really know, you're just having small talk, and they're just telling you about this diet that they tried, or a diet that they heard about, which most of the time they start saying, oh, well, this one celebrity, blah, 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 whatever their name is, they go, this celebrity tried this baby food diet, and they ate 14 jars of baby food per day for 3 days, and they lost 20 pounds, right? That's a fad diet. That's actually in the video. So if you don't, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but there's a little bit of sense to it. That's the problem. And that's my warning message for the nutrition tip of the week, is you need to start, if you're not already doing it, be skeptical of the things that you see online or wherever you're trying to get your nutrition and fitness advice. Be as skeptical as you can be. Don't jump in right away and be all in on one thing. And a lot of people, they'll hear, hey, you can eat some baby food and you're going to lose a whole bunch of weight, and this is going to be the answer to all your problems. Some people are going to hear that and they're going to jump right into it. Maybe they heard it from a credible source or what they think is a credible person, when it's really just, there's nothing wrong with that person, but they just have the wrong information, which is that adopting a baby food diet is a good decision, right? It's not a good decision. Maybe if you wanted to just try something new for a little bit, maybe it could be a decent decision. And so, yeah, I just wanted to, bring that out. Like, hey, if you're somebody who's on a diet plan right now and a bunch of people are looking at you, like when you tell them your diet and they kind of go, what? You're on the, what? You're doing eating baby food? You're a werewolf diet? You howl at the moon to lose weight? Well, if you start getting faces like this, what? Just think of the Robert De Niro meme face, what? If you see faces like that, people start asking a bunch of questions. Just kind of take a second look at your diet. Kind of take a second look and be like, maybe this isn't the best option. Maybe this fringe diet is fringe because people don't find it effective or beneficial, and maybe I shouldn't be doing it. So take a look at that. That is my warning, because it's just lost time. It's wasted energy. It's lost time. And some people, I'm somebody who, sometimes I do waste my time and energy by learning the hard way. And, taking a bad diet is learning the hard way. And some people do have to learn the hard way. And if that's you, just keep on going afterwards. That's the biggest problem, is it's not really a big deal if you fall into, doing some sort of bad diet that's just hyped up, some sort of hyped up diet. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you do it, but it is a bad thing if you realizing that that is a garbage diet and that you shouldn't be doing it to begin with. If you realizing that then causes you to not start a new diet, and you kind of blanket the entire dieting as being just it's all BS, which a lot of people will do in that situation, because you kind of get into a vulnerable situation. If that does happen, just know, it becomes an issue if you, what I'm trying to say is it becomes an issue when you do the fad diet, if you then think that and then you stop. So that's the problem that I have with fad diets. I think they could be fun and they could be challenging, and they can definitely be harmful and dangerous. So you got to be careful. But where they really become a problem, and where you really just got to uh, second guess yourself a little bit and ask yourself and kind of research your diet a little bit. Um, you should do it because you don't want to be downtrodden by realizing, like, hey, maybe you've been following this diet for like 6 months, and yeah, you got a little bit of progress, but you could have got a lot more progress by doing something else. And realizing that and then stopping, that's really the big issue there, right? So yeah, that's just my warning. My nutritional tip for the week is like, hey, look out for what's going on, because a lot of these people who are pushing, or these companies, there's a lot of, a lot of people talking about fitness. There's a lot of people talking about push-ups and bicep curls, and I mean, it's the worst. Okay, I try to stay away from it. I don't want to be talking about bicep curls. I don't want to be talking about that stuff, but there's so many people doing it, and it's all over the place, and it's been like that ever since, they introduced jogging in like the 70s or 60s, whatever years it was, where people started to get into the gym and start exercising. They've realized that some people, this is it's a vulnerable state that people are kind of in when they're trying to lose weight or get in shape, or, do whatever. They want to do these things. They don't really kind of know how to do it. And then all of a sudden, and they don't know everything at play. And then all of a sudden somebody comes up who is very good at talking, very charismatic, maybe has a good message. But the product behind what they're doing is not beneficial. It's not good. And they don't actually really care too much what happens after somebody pays for their monthly membership or whatever it is, right? So, and that's dying out. A lot of companies are not being that way, but there are still companies that do that. And I just want to say, just be a little rigorous when it comes to adopting some sort of diet program or exercise program, for that matter. Just be aware of what's going on, because a lot of these people it's just like salespeople, right? So when it comes to salespeople, there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. And in the dieting industry, like when you think about, first of all, usually people who put out like just a diet program, they say, hey, eat this or eat that. That's generally going to be like good. Like they're not making crazy amounts of money from it, and you have to do a decent amount of thinking to kind of come up with that and to put that out there. But dieting also expands out to pills. People will say, hey, you take this diet pill and you're going to, melt away 15, 20 pounds. If that's your dieting plan, that's not a good plan. Okay, that's not to take. And there's so many diet pills that are just, there's like no regulation on a lot of these supplements and pills that are out there that are geared towards dieting. So you just got to watch out for all that, because it's not the crazy thing. It's just because people are selling it doesn't mean it's safe, right? And that's the issue that comes in with finding a diet plan. So that's just my 2 cents on that this week. Sorry, I ate a smash burger before I came in here, and season up here. um, but yeah, all right. So that's the nutritional tip of the week. Okay. And we're moving right along here with this episode. I got so many things to do. I'm moving out of my place right now. And, I'm moving out on the 1st. And I thought, my place is like, I keep my place clean, right? And, and I talked to my landlord today, and they're like, yeah, your place is clean, but you got to do a couple things because we're going to start putting people in here, or we're going to start bringing people in to see it right away. And I'm like, man, I thought I would have like a week or two to like clean up and maybe fix some of the things that are going on. And now they're like, you kind of got to take care of that right now. And somebody's going to be in here in like 2 days, and I'm leaving in 2 days from now, and I'm going to be gone for like the rest of the week. So there's just a lot of stuff that I got to do. I got to like deep clean and fix a couple things around my place, and shooting this podcast, and then editing it, and then cruising out. So a bunch of things are going on for me right now. Actually somewhat surprised I've made it to do this podcast. But moving on, like that segue. No, moving on is the fitness tip of the week. And the fitness tip of the week is a basic tip, right? It's New Year's, right? So I'm hoping that people who are listening to this podcast are coming here. Y'all are new, right? You haven't been working out. You go, hey, 2021, after the world kind of set itself on fire in 2020, 2021, I'm going to set myself on fire and I'm going to lose some weight, right? So maybe people are coming in here for that. And if you are, the tip that I can give you, the fitness tip that I can give you is stay away from dumbbells for a little bit. Okay, I think this is going to be, this is something that everybody who hasn't been working out for a while, a year, couple of years, 3 years, or ever, I don't think it's a good idea to start picking up dumbbells, especially for, depending on the temperament of the person as well. If you have a little bit of ego thrown in there, you got a couple things going on, you start picking up a 5-pound dumbbell, and then all of a sudden you say, I could pick up the 20. Then, you go maybe a day or two later when you haven't gotten stronger, right? You're not really getting stronger in a couple days from going to the gym. Maybe a couple days later you say, hey, I think I can pick up that 50-pounder. And then you start, and then it all goes downhill from there, all right? What happens then is, even if you don't do that, what happens is a lot of people will tend to overload the weight that they should be using with dumbbells, and that causes them to not have proper technique to begin with. So they're going to come into it kind of having an idea of technique, but what usually happens when you start grabbing dumbbells, you start grabbing higher poundage for dumbbells, and that throws off your technique when you don't really have a good base of a technique to begin with. So even if you had a good base of technique and you increase your weight that you're trying to put up on the dumbbells, the little bit of technique that you might, or the form that you might go away from, it's not going to be too detrimental, right? But if you don't have a strong base to come off of, and then you start throwing up some dumbbells and doing some crazy workouts, and your technique and your form, same thing, is off, that is going to cause you to have issues. That's going to cause you to have imbalances that can cause you to tear something, and that can just injure you. And that's not something that you want when you're trying to lose weight, because exercising is obviously a key factor in weight loss and getting healthy. So when you're first starting off, it's already difficult to start, right? Now, imagine if you start and then you kind of mess yourself up and you take a couple steps back, because now you worked out for a week, but now you got to be out of the gym for like, a month or so because you twisted your whatever, you messed up your shoulder doing a workout, or you cranked on your neck too hard because your neck's not used to having the dumbbells and you're walking with the dumbbells and it's straining your neck muscles too much, more than what they're used to or what they can handle, just because they're not exposed to it. And so that's where the tip for the week is to stay away from dumbbells for a while. My suggestion is, if you're just starting off, again, you haven't been in the gym at all, I would spend several weeks, if not a month, of just body weight exercises. Yes, the time it's going to take you to hit your goal and lose weight might shrink down. But if you spend the first couple weeks or the first month only doing body weight exercises, your body awareness is going to be much higher, and you're going to feel a lot more confident with just your body, right? And then you can start adding in machine workouts, and then you can start adding in dumbbells, to where your risk of injuring yourself dramatically decreases. Because when you jump in as a new person and then you grab dumbbells and you try doing certain types of workouts, as a new person, it's you don't really have good body awareness, because most people, if you're not moving your body too much, you're not running, you're not lifting weights, you're not straining it, you're not walking around, you're not jogging, you're not doing these things, your body awareness, you might think you have good body awareness, but it's not that great. Your body awareness is not the best, and you can see that clearly when you see people first start to work out. They're all over the place. It's very weird and kind of foreign to them, and you probably felt it yourself. If it feels very weird just moving your arm with a weight like this, that's poor body awareness. So imagine doing that. You have poor body awareness. You kind of know the form and technique that you should be doing, but you don't really quite know how to do it, and you haven't done it enough, because a lot of things with form and technique is repetition, and you haven't had much repetition. If you compound the lack of body awareness and the lack of form, and then you throw on 30-pound dumbbells in each of your hand, I mean, that's just a recipe for injuring yourself, hurting yourself, creating bad habits, creating bad form, and just deterring you from continuing on with losing weight and working out. This is where you'll see a lot of people, for some reason, like I could see somebody who has clearly been in the gym for like probably 10 years, like they're kind of fit, but they're not, something's off. And that's because they'll maybe take they'll do an incline bench press, and they will just go down like an inch. And there's a lot of reasons why they do that. But one of them is I think they're just not, they never really looked at their form, and maybe they jumped into everything real quick, and they're just like, oh, this is the way to do it. And it's just a weird thing that happens. And I think it begins with when they begin exercising, and it's just this bad habit that they kind of develop. And I think it's from overloading themselves too much. Again, if you have a little bit of ego and you go into the gym, there's going to be a riff, because there's going to be people, because you're going to be, if you're doing a chest press with dumbbells and you're just starting off, it's very reasonable to expect that your max weight might be like 30 pounds or 35 pounds or even 20 pounds of trying to do a chest press. And then you're going to have somebody come sit next to you on a different bench, and they're going to be, pressing 90 pounds, 10 to 15 times. They're going to be doing multiple sets of it. So if you have kind of an ego issue, what that does is seeing that other person just absolutely just throw up the weight, and then seeing yourself struggle, what happens is people try to add more weight, which they do, but they do it with very bad form. And then that's when you see people who don't go down all the way or do the exercise properly, because they just find this little space to where they can grab the heavy weight and then just push it up for a second. And then, everybody else who knows that, hey, this person's not, I don't know what they're doing, right? It's not helping. What they're doing is not right. But in their mind, they think it's right. So again, I think that comes from the beginning, which is why I'm saying get your body awareness up right away. Go into it. Just do body weight exercises. I have everything on my website if you want to look at that, or just Google body weight exercises, whatever you want to do. Also have a program that kind of goes through this that's free on my website if you want to do that, liftrunstretch.com. But my suggestion, do these body weight exercises for, again, a couple weeks, a month, and then move on to machine exercises just so you can feel what it feels like to push up, to strain yourself really, to really strain your system and push up and what kind of goes on, and do that for several weeks. And again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to do the movements right, and you're trying to gain muscle, and you're exercising. So you're exercising, but at the same time, you're becoming more aware. You're paying attention to your body. You're seeing or how it feels when you pull your arm back, and how it feels when you push up. If you can start trying to feel if you're engaging your shoulders on a chest workout, and then you can go, oh, well, if I do this or that, then I'm actually engaging my chest. And that is all things that you want to do, or those you want to have first. You want to be exposed to those firstly, or in the beginning, just with minimal risk, which is a machine. So you want to be exposed to these different scenarios where you're not under complete duress. You're just under a bit of strain from a machine. A machine's not going to hurt you. Machines are there. You can build strength with machines for sure, but machines are really there, in my eyes, for people who are just beginning, and also for people who are injured. I've used machines every time I'm injured, and they help keep me in shape while I'm injured. And they're great for people when they first begin, because again, you can go under that strain, in the very beginning, so you're just not going to start throwing things all over the place. And then, once that's over, once you're a couple months in of exercising, and you're fully aware of your body, you're going to feel much more confident in there. And then you can start, incorporating dumbbells, machines, body weight exercises, but you can start grabbing dumbbells and really start doing some better exercises that are going to target better muscles for you. And that's going to be great. Okay. And then you are not going to be at you're not going to be at such a high risk for injuring yourself. Sure, more than likely for most people, you're going to come across an injury sooner or later from somewhere. So you want to mitigate that as much as possible. And doing this in the beginning, I think, is going to be huge for everybody, is to just step away from the dumbbells, step away from all this crazy stuff some trainers tell you to do, and just do some push-ups. Again, you might have to just do knee push-ups, right? That's fine. Do some push-ups, do some arm circles, do some crunches, lunges, some squats, again, just body weight exercises. Maybe grab some bands, maybe do that. And then again, just kind of feel around, feel what's going on, how things move, and just be aware of it, and then move up from there. And once you're past those steps of body weight exercises and machines, then you got a very strong foundation to start really going at it and really focusing on what's going on. So yeah, that's my fitness tip of the week. And that brings us to the next segment, cruising right along. All right, next segment is one of my favorite segments. It is the Fit Freak of the week. And let me get this up on the screen. Still recording. The Fit Freak of the week. So this, for those of you who don't know, look, people who work out a lot and exercise, the ones who run, hundreds of miles, the ones who are trying to push up, 600-pound benches, the ones who are trying to do these crazy HIIT workouts and CrossFit and all this stuff. they're freaks, okay? A lot of them they know that they are abnormal. And so I just want to say that because I don't want people to think that freak is like a bad word. I'm using it in a very endearing way, okay? But so I just want to clarify that. But the fit freak is somebody that I find is just straight killing it, just showing everybody what the human body is capable of, and is just completely, pushing through um, all the mental battles that they're coming across, and forcing their body to perform, and not only forcing their body to perform in the moment, but also spending countless hours and time building up the strength and endurance and mental capability to do some of the things that they do. And that fit freak of the week, I think somebody who just embodies that whole thing is Matthew Frazier. This guy is crazy. He is a CrossFit Games champ. He has won in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. He has won all those years in a row. And if you never watched the CrossFit Games is, first off, I do want to say, all right, I know some people don't like CrossFit at all. And there's something to be said about some of the movements that they do, the way that they do pull-ups, the compound movements that's going on. And for somebody who's like just starting off, I would not say, hey, go start doing CrossFit. They would obviously argue against that. It just seems, CrossFit's a new thing. It seems like very fast, jerky movements with rotating shoulders and doing some weird things. It seems like it's just a hotbed for injuries, right? And I've also heard that there are a bunch of injuries with CrossFit, and so I'm a fan of CrossFit. I'm a fan of the CrossFit Games. I look at it as like, yeah, some people are going to get messed up from CrossFit. It seems like a lot of people, typically people who are not really from athletic backgrounds, they're going to get messed up by CrossFit, right? You're swinging kettlebells, you're using muscles that nobody really uses. And if you haven't been using your muscles for 20 years, you start doing stuff like that, it's like, what? So there are issues with that, but at the same time, CrossFit Games is pretty dope because there's no issues with these people. These people are possibly roided up, but these people are straight monsters. I mean, they really put together the strength and conditioning and everything together. And to me, that's what I like. I like fitness when it comes to being strong and having great endurance, and also just having just high mental capacity to get through tough situations. And that's kind of what the CrossFit Games is. It combines all of those things together, and it pits these people against each other. And where Matthew Frazier comes in is, one, he keeps on winning it, but they do multiple events throughout the entire time. They're doing squats, they're doing cleans, they're doing climbing up ropes, they're running, they're jumping over stuff, they're picking up tires, I think. They're doing shoulder presses, they're doing weighted lunges. There's a whole bunch of different events, and they linked together. They like to link together a bunch of different things to where they like maybe climb up a wall or something and then climb down or jump down and do some squats, just some really wild, crazy workouts. And that's kind of what the CrossFit Games is, right? Horrible explanation, but it's kind of what it is. And Matthew Frazier, he competes in all these events. So he wins the CrossFit Games, which means obviously you got to win most of those events. So Matthew Frazier wins multiple events and not only wins them by in a lot of these events, he wins by a lot. And he just smoke checks so many people. And that's why he is a fit freak, because if he was just winning, definitely classifies him as a fit freak. But the fact that he's winning, but also just destroying people, I would suggest watching this last CrossFit Games this year at I think it was a final event where they're like running up hills or something, and Matthew Fraser just smokes the person in second place, and obviously smokes the rest of the field. It's like they're, they're all fighting for second place, and that's like an age old saying, but it's true. They are all fighting for second place when he's in there, and he's just killing it. So he is a fit freak. Go to his Instagram at Matthew FRAS. My back feels crazy. I got an icy hot on my back. You can go there and you can see him do some crazy lifts. You see him and his girlfriend in there, and you can just kind of see what he's all about, which looks like he's about some guns. He's about working out, and just killing it. So I highly suggest checking him out for some motivation to see what the human body can do, and what could be possible for you, depending on how much work you want to put in. And, genes definitely come into there as well. But Matthew Fraser is, his work ethic seems to be unparalleled, which I think is the biggest factor of him winning these. That's just kind of how it is. His work ethic has to be insane for him to be demolishing the field this way and winning these championships. So yeah, that classifies him as a fit freak of the week. And I just wanted to highlight him. So go ahead, take a look at him. Sure, most people in the fitness world know who he is, I think. But again, there's weird vibes when it comes to fitness. There's like some people think in very, tribalistic terms, like I'm a bodybuilder, I'm a classic gym person. I just go into the gym and I just lift weights, and those people tend not to like the CrossFitters because probably because I don't want to piss anybody off, but actually they don't like them because it's something new, it's something different. They're doing different types of workouts, bodybuilding and all of that. It's just two very different things. Like CrossFit is more performance, bodybuilding, they're trying to lift heavy weight, but their real goal is to see how big they can get their bodies, right? It's bodybuilding. As far as like how much, like when they're doing the weird contests, when they're like all tanned up and oiled up and looking weird and posing in front of people, like the weirdest, cringiest thing that you can really kind of watch. When they're doing that, they have completely drained their bodies of all water, and they're at their weakest point. So when they're doing their peak competition, like their competition is that posing stuff. When they're doing that, they're at their weakest. So they train all year, or they train 4 years to compete at their weakest, which is posing, which they're just standing there, flexing their arms and stuff. Compared to CrossFit, where they train all year and they kick it up a notch when the competition starts. They're at their absolute peak that they can be at, and they use it completely up, and they destroy themselves during these games. Sounds like I'm a real big CrossFit fan, but I kind of am. It's a good. It's a bit different, and you cannot deny how fit these people are. So I like it. So either way, that's the Fit Freak of the Week. Go ahead, check him out on the IG. And the last part of this is, I want to make sure I got this right. Hold on 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So this last section, now I'm going to call this section the Woo-Saw section, right? This is where it's time to relax a little bit. I should have been sitting like this whole time, but it's much more comfortable. But this is a Woo-Saw section. So motivation, inspiration. I like listening to it. I like reading books about it. I like listening to videos. I like reading good quotes. I like it. But too much of it is very annoying. All right. Too much of it is very cringe. If you go on Instagram, you start searching up hashtag beast mode and, you start going to these crazy motivational pages. It's too much. It's very weird. It's very cringy. It seems very disconnected. It doesn't seem real. It seems like there's a bunch of 13-year-olds who are in charge of a bunch of these accounts, and they're just spewing out some just completely dumb, nonsensical things. And so nonsensical that they'll just think that I'm like hating on them. If you speak anything that's against the way they think at all, or anything that kind of just poses a question to them, they think you're a hater and they like completely dismiss it, right? So obviously that's a bad thing. Okay. So there's like a delusion when it comes to motivation and inspiration online, 100% for sure. And motivation and inspiration is best taken in small doses, I think. And so with that said, though, at the end of my podcast on every week, I want to give maybe just a little bit of, if you want to call it inspiration, motivation, maybe just a nice little last tip, or maybe just a nice little send off, something. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't even kind of know what it's going to be. This is the first time I'm doing it, right? So, but I want to bring that out there because, whether you like inspiration, like motivation or not, whether you think the proponents of it are complete morons or not, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're going from not following a diet to now following a diet and exercising, I mean, you're going to come across some rough times, right? Things are going to get very difficult for you if they aren't already. And that's where a fresh, positive perspective can help change things around a little bit. It can just give you, you shouldn't be out there looking for that one piece of information. But sometimes when you're just doing your thing and then you hear this like little bit of information, a little opinion, or just a different look, like if you're, just imagine if you're, playing Call of Duty or something, and you're using your guy or girl, whatever, playing Call of Duty, and all you see is the gun that's in the character's hand, and you see what they see, but then somebody just comes up and just switches what you're viewing on that screen to another person's screen real quick, and then all of a sudden you can see that there's somebody behind you about to kill you. It's probably a bad analogy, but if that happens, just having that perspective change can really change things around for you, and just if it's the right bit of information, it can help you out. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And the first bit of information is calm. And seems pretty simple. It is, most of these things are very simple. It's just very hard to practice and do. But my little tip or advice is just look. You're starting off with this whole thing. You got to worry about what you need to eat now. You got to worry about making it to the gym. You got to worry about how to do these exercises, what exercises you're going to do, what program you're going to do. Is it going to work? Why aren't you losing weight? Why isn't more weight coming off? Why did I lose 5 pounds yesterday, but now this week I only lost 3 pounds? How long is this going to take? Is my body going to react well to this? Am I going to injure myself? What's going to happen? You have all this anxiety and all these things kind of coming into you. And my best advice is to focus on being calm. Okay. And what I mean is it should now be I would say have this kind of be a trigger. Think about this now. Connect these two things. I think is going to be something that's going to help you out. When you notice yourself kind of spiraling out, when you're deciding if you should work out that day or not, when you know you need to, when you know you should, you just feel lazy about it, or you just don't want to do it, or you feel too sore, or whatever it is, and you're like, and you're trying to come up with all these excuses on how to do it. Again, usually that spirals out of control from there. If you do notice yourself either before you spiral or while you're spiraling, just remember, hey, try to be calm. Okay. Just try to have that trigger and try to put that mechanism in place to where when that does happen, you think about being calm, because that is going to be what keeps you going. Okay. You need to be calm and look at the things at play. When you are trying not to work out that day, instead of because you're going to get the emotion of, I don't want to work out, right? And then you're probably going to feel like, oh, I'm I'm such a loser because I need to work out. I don't want to work out, and now it looks like I'm not going to work out. And then you start feeling that emotion as well. It's like almost like a depressed feeling, like, oh, this is too much. And then you start thinking, this is too much. Now I want to go get some food, but now I can't go get the food that I usually eat or that I want to eat. I got to eat this goddamn salad. I got to have these tomatoes. I don't want this stuff. This is so difficult. I don't want to do it. And these are the thoughts that can be going through your mind. I'm sure for most people who are trying to do this, these are the thoughts that come in. And again, if you choose to be calm first throughout all this, then instead of spiraling out and choosing to not work out or not follow the diet, if you're calm about the matter, you can let in the fact that you don't want to do it, and you can see it, and you can be like, okay, I don't feel like working out today. And then you can calmly be like, why don't I want to work out? Maybe it's soreness, whatever, but ask yourself calmly, why don't you want to work out? And then ask yourself calmly, well, why are you supposed to work out to begin with? Oh, because of A, B, C, and D. I need to bring my blood pressure down. I need to lose 15 pounds. And I want to feel better. And then you just calmly look at it and be like, I want these things. This is how I feel right now, and this is what's deterring me from getting this. And then just calmly ask yourself, is this enough to deter me from getting this? Is this enough to deter me from working out today? And if you're calm throughout this whole situation, you should probably come to the conclusion that you should just go work out. And that's the thing that's going to happen. If you're caught up in your emotions too much, you're just going to go from one thing to the next. And then most of the time, you go the path of least resistance. And so you're going to find that out. And the out is always to just not go work out. And that's where people kind of spiral out. They miss one workout because they're not calm about it. They don't remember really what's at play, and they don't ask themselves different questions and all these things. And that they miss one, and then they'll miss another, and then all of a sudden they don't work out anymore. And now they're not on the path. And remember, well, if you've been watching me at all, then you know that I like to tell you that 80% of people do not succeed at losing weight at 5 years. That's crazy, right? That's insane. At 5 years' time, 80% of people who go to lose weight will not succeed. So, that's why I'm talking. You might think that what I'm talking about is ridiculous or whatever, or it's too woo-woo for you. But, this is obviously something this is a barrier. This is a conversation that you're going to have with yourself no matter what. These thoughts are going to come up at some point when you're on this journey. And if you don't know how to navigate through that, or if you don't look for ways to navigate through that, and you don't even recognize that that's happening, then you're going to fall into the rest of the 80% of people. Okay, this is a huge area that I think what is contributing to people falling off of their diets or exercise programs forever is they're not trying to be calm about the situation. And you should be calm because it's the best state of mind to be when you're faced with these different scenarios. But you should also stay calm because look, if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to be healthy. If you're 20 years old and you say, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to be healthy for the rest of my life, well, you just signed yourself up to following some sort of diet program or some sort of exercise program for the rest of your life, for probably 70, for another, if you live to be 100, for the next 80 years of your life, you just signed yourself up to be doing that, dieting and exercising. And if you come across a couple issues, that deter you and make you want to quit in the first couple weeks out of an 80-year time frame, look, be calm about it. Be chill. This is a casually fit podcast, right? Relax. Okay, you got a long time. You're being too caught up in faltering a couple times here and there is not going to, it's not going to help you out at all. And if you take this calmer approach and you can expand upon the time that you're looking at and you can calmly look at what's at play, then you're going to be able to get through this whole thing just a little bit better. And on top of that, the calm state of mind is really a state of mind that you can hone in and practice when you're working out and exercising, and you can take that skill outside of the gym. And that's where you can apply it in many different areas of your life. And the faster you're able to do that is the better. Because think about it, like when people are when you see top level sprinters or top level runners, like I wasn't really top level, right? But I have ran a can't remember. I've ran a 5-minute somewhere in the 5-minute time frame mile, right? So relatively fast, okay? And I was calm, to be able to do that for myself, at least when I'm booking it, I'm not freaking out and booking it. My mind is not chaotic. It is calm. When I go and surf and I am in big surf and I am taking off on a wave and I'm trying to, do a maneuver and get in front of the wave, it's all calm all the time. When you see these people pushing up 500 pounds, they're in a calm state. Okay, the calm state when it comes to your body and fitness, which is what you kind of need to focus on when you're trying to be healthy and fit, right? The calm state is going to be the better state for you. So it's one of the most, people will spend a lot of time. Some people spend most of their lives trying to reach a calm state in the midst of chaos. And the faster you realize that, the better. Okay, so, every single time that you are coming across these different scenarios or decisions on, should you work out, should you follow your diet, kind of creates a little chaotic emotions inside of you. Just remember that just try to chill out, focus on how can I be calm in this situation. And usually that comes down to breaking down the situation and seeing what's actually going on. And again, this is going to be difficult for a lot of people, okay? I'm not saying this is easy. And if you're thinking it's very easy, then it's probably going to be the most difficult for you. But also carry that into when you work out, okay? Because the more times you try to be calm, the better you're going to be, the more calm you'll be. So try to implement it while you're working out. Think of this while you're working out. It'll also preoccupy your mind while you are going through the pain of trying to get in shape. But think about this when you are doing a set and you say, hey, I'm going to do 12 repetitions. And then you're at repetition 9 and you think to yourself, oh my God, this is too heavy. I don't know if I'm going to get 12. And once you think that, then you go, okay, hold on, relax, chill. How does it feel? And then just keep going from there and be calm. But that's the advice. That's the woosah. That's today's episode. That's the podcast today. All right. Thank you for coming by. Again, next week podcast should be going out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a Monday video. But yeah, if any of you cared, if you've been following the issues with my back, I have an icy hot patch on it right now. I've learned all different ways on how to decompress my spine now, and it's going right. Trying to get it back in shape. Try to get back on track. But either way, thank you for listening. Appreciate it, and have a good one.